Hello everyone and welcome to my March wrap up and April TBR. Now I have to just say my wrap up for this month is pretty pathetic. I was away in America for most of March, which most of you know by now, and I was hoping for this big chunk of reading time, and it just didn't happen because the schedule I was on was so busy. I had a lot of late nights and early mornings, and it just put me in the biggest reading slump, which sucks so much. But having said that, I did manage to read 5 books this month, which is okay, but it's nowhere near as much as I wanted to read. So without further ado, the first book I managed to finish this month was A Storm of Swords Part 2 by George R.R. Martin. I gave this 5 stars. I think the first book in this series is the only other one that I've given 5 stars to so far, so this is definitely one of the better ones in my opinion. There wasn't too many kind of lengthy fantasy descriptions in this, which made it so much easier to get through. Very, very character driven, fast-paced plot, a lot of blood and heartbreak, which is obviously typical of this series. So yeah, it's definitely one of my favourites so far, and that's why I got 5 stars. The next book that I read this month was a new release, and I was really excited to get my hands on it, and that is Kindred Spirits by Rainbow Rowell. I gave this 4 stars. Really, really quick, cute, nerdy read. It's about a group of people who queue a week early to see Star Wars The Force Awakens, and it's just about bonding over nerdy interests and friendship and fandoms, and it's a really, really cute, quick contemporary. She released this for this year's World Book Day, so thoroughly recommend that you pick it up. I promise you it's going to be like less than an hour read. I think I read it in, so yeah, recommend that, especially if you love Rainbow Rowell already, but even if you don't, it is a quick little taster of her style. So yeah, that is that. The next book I managed to read this month was The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey. This is a YA dystopian. The film came out in January, and I was expecting better things from this. I only gave it 3 stars. It just wasn't my cup of tea at all. I don't know if I'm just kind of getting a little bit weary of dystopian now. It might be that, but it just kind of felt very similar to some books that I've read before, and I felt like I wanted something more from it, and I don't think I'm going to be picking up the sequel, The Infinite Sea, because I've heard a lot of people were disappointed in that, even people that loved this. So yeah, it's just not for me, I'm afraid. It was okay. As I said, I gave it 3 stars, but yeah, it just wasn't for me. So yeah. The next book I managed to read this month was Halfway Dead by Terry Maggot. Again, this is another 3-star read for me. This is a YA witch book. The author sent me this himself as well as the sequel, and I think I will read the sequel at some point, but just not now because I'm just not in the mood for it. It was okay. It's about a young witch, and she works in a small town. She works in a diner in a small town, and this guy comes to town and he has information about her family, and her family have a secret. She comes from a family of witches, and they have a secret past, and it's to do with the forest in the town that she lives in. And this guy comes, and they have to investigate a lost child who went missing a while ago, who she was related to, and there's a lot of kind of magical intrigue in it and stuff like that, but I got lost in it towards the end, to be honest with you, and it just kind of, it felt like a slog to get through. It wasn't a slog to get through, but it just kind of, it didn't really excite me in a way that I was hoping it would. So yeah, that is that. And the next book that I managed to, well, I say I managed to finish this book. I will be finishing it today, so I'm going to put it in the wrap-up, even though it's technically the 1st of April, but I'm going to finish it today, and that is A Feast for Crows by George R.R. Martin. This is obviously the book after A Storm of Swords Part 2, and I'm going to be giving this 4 stars. It's okay. It's very, it deals with a different set of characters. So there are characters who were in the last books who aren't in this at all. Daenerys isn't in this. Jon Snow isn't in this. Tyrion isn't really in this. So it deals with the thoughts and internal processes of Jaime, Cersei, Brienne. Who else is in it? Arya. So yeah, I mean, with Daenerys and Tyrion out of it, they're 2 of my favourite characters. It wasn't as enjoyable as some of the others, but I absolutely adore being inside Brienne's head, certainly, and Cersei's head as well. Reading Cersei from inside her thoughts just makes me feel actually so much more sympathy for her. I'm actually starting to really like Cersei Lannister, and I'm kind of thinking to myself, why? She is fundamentally a terrible person. Why am I starting to feel sorry for her? But yeah, you get a sense of her backstory in this, and it actually really paints her in a different light. So I know I've said before that the A Song of Ice and Fire books may kind of alter your opinions on characters if you've only seen the show. And apparently that's still happening for me, even though I'm now about to finish book 5. So yeah, I think that just kind of shows it's a great testament to George R. R. Martin's writing. I think he's an awesome writer. So yeah, again, I'm recommending, if you've only seen the shows, pick up the books if you think you can read whole chunks like this. So yeah. And now on to my April TBR. Now, I've had this ambition since about October last year that I wanted to finish all of the A Song of Ice and Fire books before the TV show comes back. Now, season 6 is coming back on air on April 25th. So after I finish A Feast for Crows today, I am obviously going to be picking up A Dance with Dragons Part 1, Dreams and Dust, and of course A Dance with Dragons Part 2, After the Feast. And these are the last 2 books in the A Song of Ice and Fire that are out at the moment. Apparently we're supposed to be getting 2 more books to complete the series, but I think we're waiting with bated breath on them. So yeah, these are 2 huge books, as you can see. Part 1's a lot longer than Part 2. So these are definitely going to be my main reading focus for April. Having said that, they're not the only things I'm hoping to read. I'm also hoping to read Hex by Thomas Oldie Hervelt. This was an arc that I got sent back in January, and it's coming out in April, so I want to read that and review it before the release date. So yeah, this is a horror book. I think I mentioned it in the haul that I got. So yeah, I am going to be reading that. I also want to read, and these are really quick reads, so I'm hoping that I will definitely get to them, and that is Suicide Squad Part 1, Kicked in the Teeth, and Suicide Squad Volume 2, Basilisk Rising. So yeah, I'm hoping to get to all of those this month, but as I said, finishing the A Song of Ice and Fire series is my main reading priority for April, so wish me luck for that. I feel like it is doable. If I do finish A Feast for Crows today, which is definitely on the cards, then I feel I can just read the 2 A Dance with Dragon books before April 25th. So yeah, if they're my main focus, I feel it's very doable. So yeah, that is all from me today. What have you read this month? What are you hoping to read in April? I will leave all of my social media down below. I will also mention that the blog post that I wrote yesterday is a cover reveal of the new Laini Taylor book, Strange the Dreamer, and it is gorgeous. I have to reiterate, it is such a beautiful cover. Thank you to Hodder for letting me reveal that cover, and there is also the prologue for that book on my blog if you are interested. So that is all I have for you today, as I've said, and I hope you have an awesome day today, and I will see you very soon. Bye bye.